So a few days ago on Friday, I got an email from Starbucks letting me know that they wanted me to come in for an interview at some point the following week. And now, it's a few days later, it's Monday, and I actually did end up choosing my interview time and whatnot. And now the interview is today at 2 p.m. It's from 2 to 2:30 p.m. And I'll be meeting with like one of the managers, but just one of the managers. And he's been transparent with us. He told us that there'll be two interviews. The first one, which is the one I'm going to today, one was just the manager. Then the one like that same week, if we do well enough, with like two of the district managers or something. By the way, it's about 12:30. Interviews at 2. So what I'm doing right now is I'm like reviewing common Starbucks interview questions and also like looking at the Starbucks missions and goals statement thing, so that way I can like relate it back to the questions that they might ask me. Because even in the email, he said that they're looking for people who like fulfill their mission, values, and personal statement goals and whatnot. So yeah. At first, I was starting to wonder, like, why do we need 2 rounds of interviews? But I remember that even last year for Duncan, I did indeed have 2 rounds of interviews. But, like, with Duncan, I felt like it was more certain. Like, literally, the first interview was with a lower-level manager, and she basically just asked me, like, any previous relevant fast food experience and availability. I want, like, quick, easy, chill. I don't know if you guys can hear the airplane outside as well. Hope it's not bothering the sound too much. I put my microphone, finally. I don't know if this microphone makes a difference when I speak. I switched from the one I used to have last summer where like it made my voice sound almost like bass boosted. And I don't know if this one is much better. I don't know. So then the second interview was with the general, well, not the general manager, like I guess the overall franchise manager in a different location. That one was also chill. The main question I remember being asked was, why do you want to work here? And like it was basically like I already had a job. And then I had to fill out like the background form, or like what's it called, background check form. Yeah. And also the reason why I feel like more certain about Duncan job last year, despite the 2 rounds of interviews, was because like I was basically already in it. Like the manager at my location had given me her number. She told me that like, oh, at the end of your second interview, call me on the the number, so I can get you started on training and whatnot. So it's like I was basically already there. They just had to do the interviews and background checks because that's what they do for everyone. Whereas for here, because I don't have that personal connection with anyone who works there or the managers or anything, it's like I'm hoping I'm getting the job. I don't know if all 22 of us who got like the first email also got this follow-up email where they want us to do like first round of interviews and whatnot. I don't know, but also because in the email it said that at the end of like the first interview they'll let us know like the next steps, as in like if we'll get the second interview or if we're simply not good fit for the company. So like there's more of that uncertainty where it's like not all of us will move forward, or at least I don't know, maybe it's just the way that he worded it or the way that I understood it. So yeah, that does make me just like a little bit nervous. Also, that Starbucks I mentioned in like last video where I was talking about, where I think that it was the one where like I called them up and I gave the person like my name and number to give to their hiring manager. I'm glad I didn't hold on that one being like the end all job offer, because for one thing, the manager never got back to me or anything. And then like just a couple of days ago, I finally got an email back from that location letting me know that like it's like the typical rejection email where they're like, oh, I'm pretty sure that you're qualified and all that, but just that you're that we're moving forward with other applicants at the time, or that you're just not what we're looking for at the moment. So it makes me glad that I didn't like really hold out on that one. That one did genuinely seem promising because the person took down my number. Like it wasn't me telling them like, oh, take down my number, give it to the manager. It was the person who I spoke to who was like, okay, like let me take it down, give it to the manager. So I thought that I was like in it for real. But anyways, I'm hoping that everything will end up working out. Also, I guess it is a little relieving to do like a real interview and background check, because last time I had like a quick job, not even a quick job, like how do I describe it, last time when I worked at Subway I didn't even have to do a background check, and the interview was barely an interview, and look at how that turned out. It was the worst job I've ever had so far. So I've learned that like if you're really quick with the hiring process, that could be a red flag. That could mean that you have to run. So yeah, right now I'm about to like look at common interview questions, like I said, because I have about an hour to do so. I know that I'm kind of doing it last minute because like most of the questions are like pretty like intuitive or like they're pretty like easy to answer. Well, I just want to brush up on it so I can be like one of the best applicants and get the job. I also have to change, of course. Like right now, I'm just wearing like my home shirt and whatnot, but like later on, I'll change into, more interview fitting clothes. Also, what scared me a little bit is that the interview is 30 minutes apparently, because he says from 2 to 2:30, and like normally I've seen like 15-minute interviews, or like they just gave you like the start time, like not the end time. I'm like 30 minutes. I'm low-key hoping it'll be less than that. I'm like 30 minutes is kind of crazy, but we'll see. I'm gonna read like other people's experiences with Starbucks interviews and common questions asked, that kind of stuff. I am in the parking lot. Behind me is the Starbucks. It's next to the Chipotle, so we can see the Chipotle over here. The Starbucks is, I think, on the other side. But I've been around the area before, just like not to this specific location, so I had to use GPS to get here. It was about 12-minute drive, so nothing too crazy, and I took the highway indeed because it's a town over. But anyways, like I said, it's about 15 minutes before the interview, and I do plan on getting in like a little early, like just in case there's like a line or something, just to show that, being punctual makes a good first impression. I just wanted to like talk to you guys first, give you the debriefing before I go in. But this is the outfit I'm wearing. This is low-key like my go-to like interview, or like not like formal, but like what is this kind of like, I don't know, business casual outfit or whatever, like some kind of medium long sleeve. I have something similar but in purple, which I might have worn like last video, I don't know, but I might be abusing it when it's time for like, when I have to dress up just a little. Yeah, that's the fit. It's a bright day, as we can see by the light ray beam. I'm trying to like avoid, but not entirely, because it's not too bad. Because like before I go in, I do also want to go on the Starbucks website and just to like quickly review their mission, values, and statement. Just like familiarize myself with it once again. I don't know why I'm a little nervous this time. I think it's because, for one thing, my voice is a little like scratchy because I didn't eat anything except for just like a vitamin C tablet. So I'm gonna drink a little water there before I go until my voice doesn't break. So my voice hopefully doesn't break during the interview. So that happens when I don't eat, but then like I go on like a talking tangent. Like my voice breaks more often than it should, and like clearing my throat just a normal does not work. Because I do want to go on the website to, like I said, quickly look at the personal statement, values, and mission and whatnot. Like this time I'm a little nervous. I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it's partial reasons because like I saw the fact that the interview is 30 minutes as opposed to like the usual 15 minutes. Because like I don't have like my inner person this time, like how last time with Duncan, I had the manager's number, and that she kind of like built rapport with each other. This time like there's none of that. I don't know these people, not yet at least. I'm hoping it'll be good, because like I was reading like stories, or like I was reading like how other people's interviews went on like the Indeed website. Like how on the Indeed website you can go to company reviews and like go to like frequently asked questions or commonly asked questions. I went to like the interview one, and then they're all saying like, oh, it's like pretty chill. These are a few examples of questions that could ask. It's like typical interview questions, like name a time when you need to deal with a difficult customer, name a time when you need to work together as a team to achieve something. Like I've answered those questions before, not only just in interviews, also like just even like other applications I've had to do those questions, but just like reviewing again, so always like if I'm asked, it won't be like a complete surprise. It'll be good. So I do remember that I guess like the first time I had a proper interview, that first Stop and Shop about 2 years ago, and for that one I didn't really prepare. I thought, because like prior to that, like at the time, like 2 years ago, right, my past 2 jobs didn't really have like a proper job interview. It was basically just the manager asking me like when I'm available, my schedule, that kind of stuff, not like actual interview questions. So I thought that maybe Stop and Shop would be like that again. But even when I was asked those questions, like name a time you dealt with a difficult customer, it wasn't like a complete surprise, because I've heard those questions before in my high school like career prep classes, and I've answered them. But now that I actually did have like actual career experience under my belt, I was able to better answer it. But yeah, I'm hoping that all will be good. I know that it'll be good, actually. And I've also heard that like sometimes they give you like a free drink during the interview, or like after the interview. And I'm not really familiar with the menu that much anymore, because the whole like boycotting the place and whatnot. I'm kind of familiar with like mostly the frappuccinos, because frappe, that's McDonald's. Frappuccinos, pretty sure that's Starbucks. Or even like I heard that they have a new drink, like an iced oat milk horchata drink. I think it's like nearly $9, because my brother sent me a screenshot and he was like, oh my god, $9 for like the equivalent of a large of it. So I don't know, I might get that, because that also does sound good. But like, we'll see how it goes. I'm about to head in soon. It's about to be 1:50. I'm just gonna take like a few deep breaths, look at their website for their mission values again, and go in and crush this interview and then get back to you guys and give you guys an update on how it went and if there's a second interview, which there better be, because they said at the end of this first interview to give us like, I guess, like next steps, as in stuff like, oh, as in like, we're ready to move on with you to the next interview, or like, oh, you're not a good fit for our place. We'll see how it goes. I am done with the interview. It took, actually, I don't know, I want to say like 30 minutes-ish, like they said, because I've been told that they switched, like the company as a whole switched like how they do their interviews pretty recently. So like, if you're watching this and like you're applying to Starbucks as of like about like late May or like June 2025 or later, then like you'll see, or like you'll know about these new changes. But like they're changing the way that they do like the interview process or like the interview questions and whatnot. So that's what took like a little time, because I was told that I was the first person at like this location to like have to go through this new interview process. It's the first person. I'm like the test trial. I'm like the hamster. So that's gonna take a little bit of time for them to like, find out what works, get used to like a new thing and whatnot. I don't know how it originally went before. At least first interview is complete. I've been told that I'll get like a follow-up email, I think later today, to see if I'm a good fit for the company or if they'll move forward with other applicants and whatnot. But if they do move forward with me, then the next interview, it has to be scheduled within 3 days of the first interview, which will mean that the second interview, which I hope I'll get, would be on a Thursday. Which works with my schedule, because I have to like mentally do the math, like, oh wait, am I available on Thursday? Yes, I am, of course. I don't have a job, I'm unemployed. The expected time was supposed to take like 45 minutes, because like they asked about, I think like 4 or 5 relevant interview questions. Like there was like name a time when you had to, those type of questions, but it took less than that. Also, I loved how open the manager was. There were actually 2 of them interviewing me, like 2 of the general store managers interviewing me. One of them took notes while the other one like asked the questions and whatnot. But when I first got there, and I let them know that I was here for the interview, one of the baristas made me a free drink, which made me happy. That's when I got that new drink, that iced, shaken, horchata, oat milk espresso. It's good, I guess. It does not taste like an horchata at all. But I'd still drink it, of course. Just like horchata is a little misleading, or at least for me it is. Like calling it an horchata is a little misleading, or at least for me it is. So like, it took, I think, nearly 10 minutes till the manager, like 10 minutes after like the interview time for the manager to actually get to me, because like, they're dealing with like a machine being down, the new interview process and whatnot. So yeah, just chill for about 10 minutes on my phone, but also like being aware of like whether the manager was like gonna come up to me right now or whatnot. Also drinking my drink. First thing was I filled out like an availability form on paper, like what times I'm available on like certain days and like any special circumstances. And I had open availability, and that's what they're looking for, so that's good. One of the actual questions, I'm trying to remember them, but one of the questions was, how important is customer service to you? Another one was, name a time when, I guess you have to make like a decision on your own instead of like consulting with the higher ups. And like for most of the questions, I think like all of the questions I was able to relate it back when I was working at Subway, because Subway had like a special place in my heart, despite it being like the worst job I ever had so far. Because it was the first job that I ever had, so, have that special place, because first job, first. And also because, like, it was a solo shift, like, I did a little bit of everything, so, like, whenever it comes to, like, job interviews, I can relate most of the experiences back to when I worked at Subway, because, working solo shifts makes you do, like, a little bit of everything. And that shows, like, that you're able to, like, work well under pressure, you're able to, like, do a little bit of everything. Like, at least to me, it does. Like, I'm not, like, a hiring manager, but I think, like, it does show, like, that, like, being resilient, being able to handle high stress, being able to do a lot of stuff on your own. But also, I don't think they want to stress the independence, like being independent too much, because then, this is a team-based environment now. Like, Starbucks, Dunkin', they're both team-based environments. So, like, also so they can work as a team. So, yeah, I did bring up Dunkin' a few times, of course, because that's where I worked last summer. Also, because, the little barista job. I love the manager. Like, he's so chill. Like, if I'd give my results, he'd be like, yeah, sure, for sure. And then, like, maybe relate it back to, like, his own experience or something. Also, I also love how open he was with the process. He's like, oh, by the way, this is a new process. It might take me a while. Also, like, at the end where he's like, yeah, so I have to interview other people, of course. But, so hear back by, like, this time. I love how open he was with the entire process. I really hope I do get a job. He did mention that he also talks with the rest of the team to like determine if a new person will be a good fit for the environment, which I love, instead of like just blindly hiring people. I love how he like gets the team's input on it. Because even at my dining hall job, on campus, the manager did indeed consult like the other team members before hiring like a new person to be like, okay, just give this new person a tour. I mean, obviously, like not when the new person was there, of course, they wouldn't like discuss openly about them in front of them, but like they discuss it like after the new person left and be like, okay, this is a new person. Or like we have a potential new person. You think that they'll fit in right with you guys. I love how like they get like the whole team involved stuff, just like, you know, hiring without consulting the people that like, the person will actually be that the team members will actually be working with. Yeah, I'll try and keep you guys updated if I can. I've missed recording in the car because like, the car has that good lighting. Like, come on, outside I have that natural sunlight, I have that good lighting. Also, like, just being able to talk without, I guess, like, other people hearing me. Because in the house, if there's other people in the house, they may or may not hear me recording. Whereas if I'm here in the car, there's, like, this is, like, a good third place. Like, there's no one else in here. So less than an hour after the interview ended, I got sent, like, the automatic email, the one that I was letting you know, like, oh, thank you for applying, I'm sure that you're a strong candidate and all that. And it turns out that I was rejected. I thought things went well, but maybe the second person who came after me, like the second person who get interviewed who came in after me, maybe she was one who got the job, because when I was about to leave, I saw her and I heard like the manager giving their introduction spiel where they're like, oh, this is my name, this is the other manager, this is how long he's been working here. So maybe she got the job. I don't know if the hiring manager did just 2 interviews today, or I don't know. Long story short, about not too long ago, I got the email letting me know that I'm not chosen to move forward with the whole hiring process, or I was rejected. That does make me a little sad, but I'm also a little relieved that, you know, I just got that confirmation of like having to wait and getting my hopes up high and everything. So I'm still holding out on McDonald's, like possibly letting me know like whether they want to move forward with me or not. I'm hoping they do, because they still haven't given me the confirmation of like, yes, we want to move forward with you, or like, oh, we're gonna reject you. And tomorrow will make 1 week since the interview there, so maybe like even tonight I'll get the notification like, oh, we want you here, we want to give you the job offer. We'll see how it goes. I'm really holding out on that.